What's up, YouTube? Ultimate Shield 340 back at it again with another Destiny 2 video. In this video, this is going to be a continued discussion of the previous video I had talked to you all about failure and how failure is an important part of your life and how you should use it to your greatest benefit whenever you are trying to drive to new heights. In this particular case, when it comes to Destiny 2, I wanted to talk to you all about the process. Once you fail, what are you doing to improve and how do you improve? And this is just simply my opinion about the entire situation, so I hope that what I have to say is something that might appeal to you all. And if you like what I have to say here, maybe you can, maybe put this into your own life and see, how this could help change you and help you to succeed in life and, not just video games, but also in life, in your personal and professional life and your goals. So as I have failed continuously over and over in this trial, I have started to make small adjustments to what I'm doing and my approach to certain items and approach to weapons, as approach to different kinds of enemies. And definitely I have changed my approach on how I have approached different rooms. The one I'm coming up to here is a room that has been a huge struggle for me multiple times. Anytime I fail, I try and reevaluate what I did wrong and try and see whatever I can do to maybe adjust what I'm doing and see what that result is. During this process, I have continued to fail. However, I always have taken note of like what's been going on, what I've been doing, what's worked, what's not worked. And every time I try something different, I get a little bit further. And then I get a little bit further. And then I fail. Then I get a little bit further. Then a little bit further. Then I fail. And that cycle continues to repeat over and over. As I've gotten up into this point, this is something that, I'm feeling pretty good about. The situation I'm in. I know how to address, certain enemies and things. In this particular situation, I miss my hammer, which is a huge part of my survivability. Being able to hit somebody with the hammer is going to be able to cure myself and help me to sort of tank the damage that I am taking from all the enemies. And in addition to that, as I am hitting people with my hammer, I am starting to build roaring flames, which is going to increase the damage that my hammer does. In addition to that, if I kill somebody, Soul Invictus is going to create a sunspot, creating that scorch and igniting targets that is going to add a lot of DPS to the enemies, a lot of ad clear, and helping me to push past each and every section of this entire thing. Right now, this is probably, you're going to see one of the toughest challenges that I see that I have here in this room is this part that's upcoming here where the ads are going to spawn from this room, and then the unstoppable champion who just smoked me in the back, or actually I think that's a barrier champion, is going to smoke me in the back. In fact, there's actually two champions. There is one barrier champion and one unstoppable champion, I believe. Either way, those two champions, in addition to all the ads, as you can see here, they're pelting me. And, during this process, I'm thinking to myself, okay, now what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Last time I tried this, I ran out there and pretty much got smoked. Whenever I ran up there, it's the champions at the top that are really the bane of my existence here. And so I've learned it's probably a little bit better to try and, not even hold my super, just use it, add clear, and then hopefully I can come up here and use that to attack the champions that you see here. Unfortunately for me, this is a barrier champion, and during this process, and this is why it's very important that you learn about failures. This is me, the footage that you're seeing is me after I have tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed and stopped to reevaluate what I've done wrong. And one thing I have done wrong, especially when it comes to these barrier champions, is that I am not utilizing my radiant buff to its best potential. Anytime I hit somebody with my hammer, I am going to get the radiant buff, and the radiant buff is going to give essentially my not only a damage increase, getting a damage boost, but it's also going to be able to pierce the shields of barrier champions. And so I need to utilize the Prometheus lens, which you see me using here, to pierce through that right there. But the problem is I have to hit somebody with my hammer first, and that's the problem. And as you can see, I'm again failing and failing and failing, but I'm trying to alter what I'm trying to do to maximize the benefit of me being able to get to the next level. Throughout this process of failure, and this kind of goes back into what I'm saying before, throughout this process of failure, it's going to be very, 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 very frustrating. Now, I didn't add any personal audio while I am, doing this. However, I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs. I'm definitely being very frustrated with this entire thing. But the whole point of this is not to give up. Once you keep going into these situations, you have to keep getting back in there, reevaluating what you're doing wrong, and getting back in there. You have to really trust the process. The process is a necessary component in all of this, because this is how you are actually changing, and this is how you're actually growing. You're actually going to be very uncomfortable, and this is a good thing, because the process, you have to trust the process in order for you to become that better person. In order for you to put one foot in front of the other, you're going to have to trust that you have learned from your previous mistakes, and you're going to move forward. And you're going to trust, in this particular scenario, you're going to trust your feet to catch you every time you put your foot down to take another step forward. In the event that you stumble, you are going to fall, but you have to get back up. You cannot continue to allow yourself to be frustrated with the results and then giving up. And to be clear, being frustrated with the results is fine, but giving up is not okay. And so, while we go through this entire process, that's what I want you to keep in mind. Although you're watching me play this gameplay, and you're kind of seeing me have an evolution of gameplay, as you can see here. Now I'm utilizing my scout rifle to stun this unstoppable champion, and starting to really develop my own strategies around how to deal with these kinds of people. That's the same thing that you need to do. Trust the process. Whatever that process is for you, you need to trust that process and get yourself to that level where you are able to overcome adversity. Again, I fail. That's okay. I'm getting close to giving up, and I do. Now, the reason why I give up this time is because since I died so early, it's better for me to actually leave and then come back in so I can have more retries. So that's actually what I'm going to do. Come out, go back in. And again, I'm very frustrated with this entire process, but I'm trusting that throughout this entire trial and tribulation, I'm going to be able to succeed and overcome. So I'm going to continue to get back into it, and I'm going to, at this point, sort of describe to you my thought process as I continue to move forward. So at this point, I've kind of memorized where the enemies are. I'm going to throw my grenade, try and get these guys down as fast as possible, create some scorch, some sunspots. If I was lucky enough, I would have been able to actually get like an overpower to boost my weapon damage, but unfortunately that was not the case. I'm going to kind of rush this champion and stun him and then get rid of him very quickly. As you have learned and kind of saw in my previous gameplay, I have to use the scout rifle to stun the champion, and then after that I can sort of DPS him down and really get him down very quickly. So at this point, I threw my hammer, and I was able to get it, and I'm just kind of checking around, making sure there's no enemies. On this side, on the bridge, I've sort of calculated I need 2 shots. I'm going to kill these guys very quickly, then move forward. I also like using the grenade launcher here because I get some special ammo, as you can see here, for my Prometheus lens. As you can see, I'm really going to need that in the next room up ahead. So this next room is sort of the bane of my existence. I cannot tell you how many times I have failed. However, during this process, I have sort of learned what I should do and how I should really address the issues that I have at hand. So one issue that I have is these ranged enemies, and unfortunately I am going to miss my hammer, but that's okay. I'm going to be able to sort of pick it up and then come back down here and then address the enemies that are down below. I've sort of learned that it's best for me to sort of use my grenades for big groups of enemies, as you can kind of see there. If I get a kill, I'm going to get the Scorch, and it's going to really help me on ad clear. In the event that I get kind of close to a lot of people, I'm going to be able to hammer them down. Now that that column is down, then I know that these enemies are going to come out. I knock those guys down very quickly, and then I am able to pick up some special ammunition and then move on to the next objective. This is probably where things are going to get very hairy for me, in the sense where, you know, I'm expecting a whole bunch of resistance. As you can see, I get killed. This is typically about the time where the Unstoppable and the Barrier Champion are going to come out, in addition to all these ads. So I am going to sort of try and do whatever I can to address these ads and try and kill as many people as I can. The good news is that whenever I hit an enemy using my hammer, again, I can go ahead and cure myself and sort of get back into the game, into the fight, and take some of that damage. And that's kind of what I do here. The key point in all of this is that I don't miss my hammer, because after many times of failing, I have learned if I lose my hammer in the middle of all of this, it's a wrap. Unfortunately, that's another issue that I have, where I know if I come up to the top, I'm going to get smoked by these champions. However, one thing I would want to note is that I can tell by my own gameplay here, I'm very frustrated at this point, because at this point I have been trying almost all day to just get past this point. So I'm just kind of like sort of upset and just trying to do whatever I can to just, you know, win the day. These two guys are actually also a pain, because they will do a lot of damage and kill you. Many of you are wondering, well, how come I just don't do my finisher? And I had been wondering the same thing right up until that point. I died, and then I came back, and I thought to myself, why didn't I just use my finisher? Well, that's exactly what I do. And so, again, this process is, what you're seeing here, this gameplay, is an evolution of gameplay after many times of failing. Many times you'll see on YouTube where people will go ahead and post, you know, this is, you know, what I've done. You know, whenever they show you gameplay, it's all like, you know, this perfected thing or whatever. And, you know, again, I'm not trying to throw shade on any YouTubers or anything like that, but oftentimes you don't see the failures behind it, and I wanted to sort of highlight that here to show you, like, this is the process. And that's, again, as you can see there, I was able to use the Radiant buff to pierce the shield and stun the champ, and now I'm able to sort of burn him down very quickly. The other, this other guy kind of comes over. I notice his shield is solar, so I'll go ahead and I'll burn him down as quick as possible as well. And now we are officially in the very next step, where I now have to carry these blooms into the columns here, put that in, and it will open up the door to the next part. Now I'm rushing through here, and I was able to kind of get lucky and make sure that I was able to kill that guy right there. And now I'm back into ad clear. And because I feel comfortable with the ad clear, you know, I was able to kind of get through these guys very quickly. And now that the room is empty, I can just go ahead and collect that last bloom and move on to the next stage. But again, point is, what you're seeing here is an evolution because of all the previous failures. Every failure is a step toward the right direction. As long as you are altering what you were doing and really checking in and seeing what you're doing wrong, and then changing what you are doing in order for you to be able to grow. At this point, I'm kind of, I'm a little excited. This is pretty much the furthest I think I've gotten in quite some time. And, you know, I'm trying to fight these champs and make sure that I get this guy down. and that's kind of what I'm doing here. As you can see, same kind of thing, trying to get this guy down, making sure I try and kill him as soon as and as quickly as possible. Now here's the problem: I just threw my hammer and lost it, and I eventually died. And while frustrating, it's okay, don't give up. We're gonna go ahead and pop the rally barricade to increase my melee energy, and I'm gonna try and, you know, maybe try and take this guy down as best and as fast as possible. Because he's unstoppable, he did not, you know, regen his health, which was great on my part, so I was able to sort of, you know, kind of burn him down. When you're getting to this part right here, this is also kind of tricky because that other guy in the back kind of keeps shooting non-stop. That's, you know, rather difficult, so you know, just kind of do what you can to go ahead and kill him, and make sure that you are, you know, just protecting yourself at all times. Again, you know, I'm just trying to use all the tools available to me to go ahead and kill him, and you know, take him out the game so that I can go ahead and move forward. So I'm able to do that, and then we are able to move on to the next room. This is the final boss. I finally made it, thank God. After so many struggles, after so many trials and tribulations, again, I have now made it to the final boss room. Again, my heart is beating as fast as it can. I'm very excited, and I am going to use everything at my disposal not to fail. And so I'm doing everything I can to try and burn down the boss, fight these enemies, and do everything I can. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let the rest of the gameplay play out, but I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this. Failure is a necessary part of life. Make sure you trust your process, learn, grow, adapt, do your very best. And no matter what, no matter how tough things get, no matter how frustrating things can be, make sure that you take a step back, reevaluate what you're doing wrong, and get back on that horse and try and do your very best. It's okay to be frustrated, but it's not okay to give up. This is Ultimate Shield 340 signing off, and I'll see you in Destiny 2. Peace.